When exactly do you stop your HSA contributions to avoid penalties? What about your spouse, your employer? What about Social Security? I've got you covered in this video. Welcome back to Medicare Happy Hour, the most fun you'll have on the internet while talking about Medicare. Today, I am enjoying a mango mimosa. Cheers. So first things first, what are HSAs? So health savings accounts is what is frequently known as an HSA. So if you're on a high deductible health plan, you're used to your employer having a $3,000, a $5,000, a $6,000 deductible on your plan, your benefits usually include an HSA. And what this is a pre-tax contribution, tax-free withdrawals, and you can use this money. You're essentially putting in an account and it's going to grow, and then you can use it for qualified medical expenses. A lot of people use these as another savings mechanism. So, what does this look like when it comes to Medicare? So if you are enrolling in Medicare before you turn 65, so essentially before the month that you turn 65, you can stop your HSA contributions essentially the day before your Medicare effective date is. You don't need to worry about this situation at that point, as long as you stop before your Medicare starts. Now, if you enroll in Medicare after your 65th birthday, maybe at 66, 67, you tie it to your Social Security, etc., then you need to stop your HSA payments 6 months before applying for Medicare. So essentially what they're going to do is look back 6 months when they start your Medicare. So I always recommend that you stop 6 months in advance. All right, so let's go into an example of this so you can really see what this looks like. So for the retroactive coverage, so let's say you turn 65 in April and you're waiting to apply for Medicare in October. So Medicare will backdate your Part A coverage back to April. And the IRS may consider these months essentially ineligible because you are now, with that backdating, you're now on Medicare Part A from October, basically essentially from April through October. So there is a 6% tax penalty on those months. Now, I'll be frank, a lot of these tax penalties are not significant, but it's important that you're aware of this more than anything else. So does your employer need to stop? Essentially no later than when your Medicare coverage begins, including the retroactive. So just coordinate with your HR, go have a conversation with them, maximize your HSA benefits before you enroll. A lot of employers will give you a set dollar amount for the year. So see how you can work with your employer if your, retroactive date is not till August or something. There's a lot of months in there that you could potentially, maximize those earlier in the year HSA dollars. So just have a conversation with HR or your benefits team about that. So another question that we get frequently is, how does carrying your spouse on your benefits impact all of this? So essentially, if your spouse enrolls in Medicare, you can no longer contribute. If you're contributing maybe a family rate instead of an individual rate or something like that, you have to kind of adhere to your spouse at that point. So if they're on Medicare, you can't contribute for them on the family rate anymore. Now, non-Medicare spouse, you can still absolutely contribute for them. Now, I will mention that if your HSA is in either your name or your spouse's name, you can use funds from either of those HSAs to pay for medical costs. And I do want to give a quick reminder here about Medicare premiums. Can you use the HSA dollars for Medicare premiums? Yes and no. We have other videos on this that I would really recommend you take a look at, because this can get kind of complicated. There are certain things you're allowed to, there's certain things you aren't. As a reminder, Part A that we've been talking about today, the hospital side of things, that does not have a premium when you're on Medicare, but Part B does. There are some people that might pay a premium for Part A, but again, we have videos on that. The vast majority of individuals, as long as you or your spouse has worked essentially 10 years, you get Part A with no premium. Now, quick thing I do want to give a reminder to is Social Security and auto enrollment, because this does impact some people that they haven't necessarily considered this. So if you signed up for Social Security benefits before you turn 65, you enrolled early, which I believe that you can do starting at 62. They just reduce your benefit. You are automatically enrolled in Part A. So if you're already taking Social Security, they're just going to mail you your Medicare card when you turn 65. So it's effective the first day of the month when you turn 65. So you do need to stop HSA contributions before your birthday month if this applies to you. I just want you all to be aware of this because it gets very complicated. If you're over 65 and have been contributing to an HSA, don't let that impact your Medicare decision. Just talk to an advisor, see what makes sense for you. Really, I would recommend that if you're planning to work past 65 and delay your Medicare, that you just put something on your calendar that 6 months before you, maybe 9 months before you have a conversation with your HR, your benefits department to take a good look at this. And then really by 6 months, you're prepared on how to handle this so that come, whenever you do enroll in Medicare, that this doesn't impact you. And if this is going to impact you, consult your advisor. If you've already over contributed, we can help with that. Just give us a call. We're happy to talk through this with you.